Hi everyone. I know this is an early post for the self-awareness activity, but I'm trying to follow the YouTube suggestion of posting only 3 things in a day. And I didn't feel like doing another reading tonight. So here we go. I'm going to post this now. I also think it's good because it doesn't really matter where you start doing these exercises. Yes, I ask deliberately for what will be good for a specific week. And it's going to be relevant to you when you see it and it goes, oh, that looks like it would be good for me. So I really mostly dated them to keep people on track for where it's going in case they want to do this sequentially. But do them whenever you find them and they resonate. The cards for this week are love, service, and but do I want to? Okay? So I love the combinations. I love. Love. Deepak Chopra defines pure love as something we embody. It's something that radiates from us, quote, like light from a bonfire or dreams from a dreamer, end quote, rather than something we parcel out to some and not to others. Love in its purest form is a state of being which can influence our behavior, but does not rely on actions in order to be felt or to have a positive effect. Love does not demand reciprocity. I don't know if you've ever been in the presence of anyone that radiated that kind of love, but I have. And he was my 92-year-old great uncle who I'd never met before. And that experience of being in his energy literally changed my 17-year-old life completely. I hope you've had the opportunity to experience that kind of love. And I hope you've had the opportunity to experience it both in terms of being in the presence of it and also being the presence of it. So I would ask you to look at where you've experienced it, where you haven't experienced it, when you've looked at the other kind of love, when you've loved by giving, where you felt like your love would only be received through action, or when somebody expected and only saw love through action, through acts, as opposed to also presence. So look at where that is. Look at what your standards for love are, what you've experienced. Were you just held as a child and just known that you were beloved? I don't know how many people have had that experience because I think it's something that demands a lot of calm and presence and awareness of connection. And certainly, I think in people in my generation and earlier, that wasn't really the cornerstone of parenting. So look at what that's like. See where it is in your life and what relevance it has to perhaps the next card, which is the energy of service. Okay? This is about assisting others, yourself, the earth and its species, including the human race, regardless of praise or public accolades. Well, that kind of goes along right back there. It's not given to some and not to others. It may be through deed or presence alone. There's that word. It may simply be the way of thinking that permeates all of your normal daily activities. Hold the attitude that the world is a place where we're all here to help each other in some way and embody that. Look, embody and embody. This is perfect. Okay, now this is really interesting because the awareness activity card is this. But do I want to? Very empowering. Every time you say, I can't, your body and your mind contract. Today, every time you find yourself about to say or think, I can't, instead say, yes, I can, but do I want to? Notice the difference in your posture and your breathing when you choose the second response. How do your mental and emotional states change? Notice how differently you start to think about your options. Okay, so I like this because the whole service thing, right, and the whole love thing, well, that's really articulate. The whole love thing, the whole service thing, the idea for me of embracing the energy of service, the idea that we are here helping each other, learning, growing in some way. I think it's really valuable, and this is where I'm hoping I can get this connection right because it's coming in my head now, is that service doesn't mean, and loving doesn't mean, loving doesn't mean being in service to the point where you are giving up what is right for you. It's really, really important. And this is where the kind of loving that is parceled out can really, really be checked on. Because when you are being requested to do something, or when you have said it in your mind, you have to do something because this is what love means. Check in. Do you want to? Because if you don't want to, you're not coming from that radiating place, right? So I would look at this and I would say for this week, I'm going to look at where my love has become a duty, an obligation. Now, the thing is that's also really important here is sometimes in our mind we turn it into an obligation. But if we stand back and think about doing it for the person, we realize it is still coming from a radiating love. So radiating love, that embodied love, is not dependent upon actions, and it can still be involved in actions. The checkpoint here is, have you let it become an action or a burden, something that you don't want to do? Or has it become something that just out of habit, you're thinking of it as, okay, it's a job. But when you stop and you think about doing it for something like, yeah, I really want to go and take the time to buy groceries for my friend who's coming back to town. Yeah, I really want to go over and make sure that her house is all set up and her bed is made so that after this long journey, she can just crash. Yeah, I really want to do that because I really genuinely feel this love. Oh, okay then. It's not really an effort. Okay, so that's just a little example. Check it out. See what happens. See how you're feeling about that. And play with it. Again, this is the way I'm going to look at it in my life, and I'm going to check it out. But as you go through this, and as you take it into your week, whichever week it is, notice how it might change according to your experiences, how you get a chance to play it out, and also just where it takes you in your mind and in your history, because it can be different for everybody. And I'm very curious to see how this goes for you. So love comments, okay? Also really love subscriptions. That helps to boost the channel, and really like to get these exercises out to more people. So if it's not offensive to you in some way, please consider subscribing. Thanks so much.